technical analysis in under 10 minutes. This is Broadcom AVGO. I'm on the daily chart. So the first thing I wanted to highlight here is the fact that Broadcom had this moment on previous earnings that clearly people got super excited about it, and the stock was evolving in a healthy way, and then we had this gap down here. I think it was that deep seek a moment, and we kind of recovered just like Nvidia, and then down again. But there's this hopeful glimpse of a wedge pop, right? So if you let me try to make it clear here. So if you connect those wicks, it does look really great, right? You see that it was on a downtrend, and all of a sudden on volume it went up. I don't know if this was a short covering or legit buying, so definitely we need to wait for the progression to call it, okay, this is going up now. Up to where, I don't know. We can have a glimpse using options levels. This is my free indicator on TradingView. You may see the levels that matter here. Don't know why it's taking long. Okay, coming. Okay, it's right at call wall, 195. So yeah, we need to see if it breaks this level before we call it, this is something coming back. Support is at 165. That would mean we resume, if we come down, we resume this downtrend. So that wedge is invalid. So I would be watching for a break of 195 to call it maybe a recovery. So if you look at AVGO divided by Nvidia, I think there's an interesting fact that it's being on a downtrend, meaning Broadcom is losing to Nvidia, and then all of a sudden it's like taking the leadership, and fluctuates like this, and we may be seeing here what we saw here, and then a break of this line, which could mean Broadcom took the leadership finally. So that's interesting to monitor. Broadcom has some strategic positioning different than Nvidia. In the long run, I think Nvidia is still going to be the leader, but that's my belief. You do whatever you want with that. So let's go back to AVGO. So these levels are clear that you have to watch for them. So big gap here, we filled it completely. If you want to see it, just use the gaps tool. You will see that it got filled on the deep seek thing, not completely here, but then completely here. So we're cleared of this gap. And by the way, if you look at this level here, which is the edge of the gap, excuse me, you see that we bounced from there, right? That's interesting. That might mean that the gap worked as support. And as a matter of fact, just let me adjust it a little bit. This level is very significant because it was resistance before, then we broke about it, and then if now it's flipped to support, that's a very strong indication that this level is going away for a while. So like price is going to move away from it. Yeah, it does look like a very interesting, meaningful move this Friday. Although I'm very suspicious about what happened on Friday in the afternoon, but it could be an indication. So what else can we take a look here? I like to look at volume. I will anchor it at August 5th, which was that very low that we had last year because of the carry trade. And why here? Just because it's a very interesting pivot point. It could be somewhere else, and I'll show you the differences. So for me, this is confirming what I'm saying. That this is where we are right now. It's kind of a launch pad higher, and then the void of volume here means we're going to be able to get to here, unless there is market selling pressure because of uncertainties and other things. So there's a chance we bounce this week, and if we do, I think AVGO is a great play because we're talking about, if we overcome this call wall, at least 9%, maybe a little bit higher, 14. Uh, no, I would say here because there's resistance here from this high. So yeah, let's call it 10%, right? 10% upside in a few days, maybe a week, is not bad at all. So that could be a good play. Just to show you the difference, instead of anchoring here, the volume profile. This is basically transferring the volume over time to volume over price. I'll put it here. This is also a meaningful swing low, and you see that there's still the dip there, right? But then there's less support where we are now, and a lot of resistance around here where I said that price could be stopping. So sometimes you have to anchor in different places so that you can see different pictures of the same thing. With, in this case, volume, because it offers you a perspective, right? So I'm confident that if this wasn't a fake out, we are going to see higher, at least up to here. Let me mark this line here. So this is significant, 217. So there's 10% there to be explored maybe. And obviously, if the market recovers, I think Broadcom is on a great entry point. But be careful. I'm not sure if the market is going to recover just yet. All right, so besides that, you can use my AVWAP band indicator that I launched last week on TradingView. Again, you have to anchor it. I'm going to anchor it on August 5th again. And what you see, it's very interesting. So you see that we lost this level here last week, but then we recover it. So it's a meaningful level for sure. And the red here is resistance. And let me try to zoom in so that you can see those things are interesting, right? We didn't get there because of the call wall. Otherwise, we would have tested it. So here, I think after we overcome the call wall, it's the first level of resistance, 197. And if this is cleared, obviously there's another resistance here. And if this is cleared, more chances that we are going to see this target here, which is roughly 10% of where we are right now. So those things are confluent. One other thing I would like to look at is the squeeze momentum. This is an enhanced version. This is the most popular indicator on TradingView. If you search for it, you'll see. But I enhanced it with a lot of visual things that help me make decisions, and also like you see the Williams R is divergence. MACD, all bullish divergence on RSI, etc. This is looking good because also momentum is looking like it's going to cross. And once it crosses up, usually, not always, we see price appreciation, right? Momentum is released as of now, which means volatility is on. No surprises here. All right, so I think Broadcom is looking promising. Let me see. I will take, since it mentioned Williams R there, let me look at oscillators. Yes, so on the daily, we're seeing a cross on the stochastic coming up. Williams R is coming from oversold to more normal levels, and RSI was super oversold. The picture is different on the weekly if you switch. But, Williams are also oversold on the weekly. I like that a lot. Momentum is still coming down on the weekly. That could be a warning sign. So I would say from this and what I just showed, I would say that Broadcom is probably a short-term play until we see the break of those levels here, because those are going to be huge resistance, right? So it could be a short play to capture 10%, 10 to 12% tops, and then we see what happens before we consider a longer term position. I wouldn't go longer term positioning on anything right now. That's me. I think the market is still very undecisive about recovering from where it is. We may see further downs before we go up. As always, trade safely, and if you like this, please react so that I can be motivated to build more of those. And so just you know, there's no script. I don't analyze the charts beforehand. What I try to do is kind of a flow analysis, where I open the chart naked and I start analyzing with you. And the guy coughing there, it's my son. So thank you.